Hi everyone, Gruntle here, and this is my guide to legendary and unique weapons in Borderlands the pre-sequel. This episode we're looking at MINAC's Atonement, which is a unique laser manufactured by Maliwan and part of the Claptastic Voyage DLC. You can get this as a mission reward for the mission Rose Tinting, which you'll get in Pandora, Cluster Pandora, and it's basically you have to kill a bunch of guns on the side of MINAC, which is kind of a boss guy, and also some clapbots that come out. So yes, if we take a closer look at this gun, you'll be able to see here that it has a unique looking dowel barrel. That is the MINAC's barrel. It's always going to have the dowel barrel. It's always going to be a Maliwan weapon as well. And it can have a different grip, stock and sight to what this one is, but this one's got the Maliwan grip, stock and sight. However, if you have it with the dowel stock, you're going to get recoil reduction and faster recoil recovery, or even if you have it with the Hyperion stock, you'll get increased accuracy and faster recoil recovery. But I think the Maliwan grip is the best for this weapon, as that is going to give you increased elemental effect chance and increased reload and mag size, because it is matched up with Maliwan weapon. But yes, this is the one I'll be using for the demonstration, just because it's more similar to the Maliwan weapons that I've been using previously, and you'll be able to see a better comparison between those. Now, onto the interesting things about this weapon. The red text here says, "I'm not always that dangerously homicidal," and I believe that's a reference to the mission itself, as it's MINAC's Atonement. Basically, the MINAC boss guy is trying to do good or something. I don't know. I don't really know. Anyway, the cool thing about this weapon is that every single shot, it's a blaster because of the dowel barrel, and every shot has a chance to be one of three elements. It can be either corrosive, incendiary or shock damage, and that's a random chance for each shot that it does. Now if we compare it here to the similarly parted Maliwan laser of purple rarity, you can see that the Atonement has 1.5 the damage, almost, or a little bit over 1.5 of the damage of the purple Maliwan. It has less continuous damage bonus, but even because of the high base damage, it's going to give higher overall damage when the continuous damage bonus is at max, compared to when the continuous damage bonus of this blaster is at max. It has a small magazine size and will consume 2 ammo per shot, so you'll be reloading a bit, and the fire rate is greatly reduced, so it's just a little over half of the fire rate of a normal blaster Maliwan, as you can see. So if you're looking for a character to use with it, you'll want a character that has some sort of fire rate buff. So that could be Nisha, or I believe Athena. You can go into her Unrelenting skill, and that'll give her a high fire rate as long as you have Maelstrom. And you can stack up Maelstrom with this because it is an elemental weapon, so that's pretty good. Now if we compare it here actually to all of the other unique Maliwan lasers, you can see that the damage of the Atonement is much higher than all of these, especially much higher than the Freeze Easy, which is a shitty gun. Anyway, we ignore this gun, it's a silly gun. So, I'll show you it firing here. This is what it looks like. So there was a shock damage shot, that's a fire damage shot, another shock. See if we can get a corrosive shot going. There we go, the green text was corrosive. So if I just hold down the trigger here, you'll see that there's lots of different damage types coming out, and they all have splash damage, which is good. That will add to the overall damage of the shot. And of course, because it's corrosive, shock and incendiary, you have a chance of either lighting them on fire, getting them all shocked, or corroding them as well. So that is pretty good. Now I will be using this weapon with Wilhelm in the demonstration because he has some laser buffs, and I've been using him for the rest of the lasers as well, so you'll be able to see a better comparison, except for that Freeze Easy, but that doesn't really matter. So yes, we shall jump to that, and I will let you know what I'm thinking of how the gun performs. So here we are in Overlook with MINAC's Atonement, and you'll be able to see that there's no sight on this gun, and that's because I must have taken it off, or had the version of it with no sight when I was doing this part, as opposed to that intro-y kind of section when I was talking about the gun. But anyway, it doesn't really change the use of this weapon, except I won't be aiming down sights very much, except for them. But anyway, you can see that this gun is performing quite well. It's taking out the enemies reasonably quickly, especially when I'm hitting those correct elemental effects on them. The fact that it does change elements makes it quite an interesting gun for me to use, and something that's quite fun for me particularly, but also a bit of a challenge when you're up against the armoured enemies or the shielded enemies, because if you're hitting that incendiary damage, they're going to resist it a bit. It's going to take a couple more shots to kill them, but you can kind of brute force your way through that with the increased fire rate of some characters, so that's pretty good. Overall, it's a usable weapon, and something that I like to pick up when I'm playing through the Claptastic Voyage. So if you want to read more about it, I've left a link in the description below the like button. Please let me know what you think of the video, and if you want to see more of these guides, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.